started sharing?
Sir, I'll just give an introduction and then we can go for the
Okay,
presentation, sir.
okay, okay. We had some network issues, that's why the delay. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Good evening to all. On behalf of Puducherry Climate Change Cell, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone joining us for today's session on climate change webinar on the topic climate resilient agriculture, safeguarding Puducherry's food security. This webinar is a part of a continued effort to engage experts, policymakers, researchers, and the farming community in meaningful dialogue or strategies to adapt climate change and ensure sustainable food production. As we all know, agriculture is not only the backbone of Puducherry's economy but also central to the livelihoods of thousands of farming families. Climate change poses multiple challenges: unreliable rainfall, seawater intrusion, soil degradation, and outbreaks. Though through this session, we aim to explore innovative practices, technologies, and policy interventions that can build climate resilience in agriculture while safeguarding the future of our farmers and ensuring food security to all. We are all privileged to have with us the distinguished speaker, Dr. Saravanan Kangasamy, former soil scientist, Director Arms of for Farmers Private Limited, Tirupur, who will bring valuable expertise in agriculture, climate science, and policy planning. I now request Tiruchi Balaji, Senior Project Associate of Puducherry Climate Change Cell, to introduce our today's speaker for this webinar.
Thank you. Our speaker for today's session, Dr. Saravanan, he is an accomplished academic researcher and a progressive organic farmer with more than 25 years of experience in sustainable agriculture. He holds a degree in soil science and agriculture chemistry and a postdoctoral fellowship from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. He has served as an assistant professor at Pajankova in Karaikal and at Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. He has guided research at undergraduate and postgraduate levels and has contributed significantly to soil management and agroecology. Since 2019, he has been actively engaged in organic moringa farming and value-added processing, and he is also the founder of Arms for Farmers Private Limited, which aims to promote farmer-centric consulting, training, and market linkages. He has developed innovative shade drying, and mulching techniques, and has prepared the DPR for Moringa Expert Zone in Tamil Nadu. And he has also trained farmers across India in this aspect. Dr. Saravanan has represented India at national and international Moringa conferences, delivered invited talks on value addition and sustainable practices, and has produced widely viewed training videos reaching lakhs of farmers. His contributions has been recognized with awards including the Progressive Moringa Award in 2021. A passionate advocate for eco-friendly and farmer-driven solutions, Dr. Saravanan bridges scientific expertise with grassroots practices, focusing on improving livelihood through organic moringa, millets, and horticulture innovations. It's a privilege to have you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the nice
Thank you,
introduction.
Balaji. We are
Uh,
moving forward and we can now begin our technical session, sir. Lovita, madam, Lovita, madam, can you please share the presentation?
yeah. Worshipping the divine, I respect you all with me. Good evening, friends. So it's an opportunity. I'm very glad to share my experiences and views relevant to climate resilient agriculture. Yeah. Um of course, climate change is a global phenomena, but we have to act locally. Everyone should act locally to address this global issue. It is relevant to Puducherry as well. Um, it has four different regions, all closer to the coastal line. But the agricultural scenario is different in all these four units of Pondicherry. Um, it is a threat given the excessive around 48 centimeter of rainfall received in a single day last year. So that itself is an indication that just like what we have witnessed in the northern India in Uttarakhand, similar events are getting more frequent nowadays. So it's everyone's responsibility, because the national there we have boundaries between states and between nations, but we have a common atmosphere. We have an area wherein we don't have boundaries. We share responsibilities. We share race, space, and responsibilities. So, in that sense, we are all responsible to respond positively to address this growing issue. Okay. Yeah, you are all familiar and experienced the impact of such erratic events. Mm, Key vulnerabilities in Puducherry's agriculture, apart from the monsoon season, we face water scarcity also. That's why our water table is going down, and the due to the tube well and bore wells erected intensive bore well irrigation, especially in the Puducherry region, uh, most of the irrigation is tube well irrigated. So the groundwater level goes down. So seawater intrusion, that salinity intrusion, is an impact of that declining water table. So we face water scarcity during summer and non-rain where in seasons and summer and in non-rainfall seasons. Okay. Then the soil degradation and yield losses also due to increased temperature. The crop has to change its physiology, so the source to sink relationship is offset, and yield declines up to 20% is expected in 2030, is a projected research data due to the impact of change in climate. In paddy, up to 20%. In wheat, also similar scenario. In 2040, if the situation is allowed to continue, even the yield losses may go up to 40%. That was the projection saying. Whereas in crops like maize, it is to a lesser extent, which adapt better to a hotter climate. So only 8% of yield losses are projected. So with that background, so these pictures are familiar. Loida, you please move to the next. Yeah, these images are familiar to you. Next one. Next one, please. Am I audible to all of you, friends? I'm just presenting from.
You're audible,
Okay,
sir.
okay,
Please.
okay. I'm just presenting from my farm. So there's a special situation here. Mostly you used to listen from.
Is concerned now. In
Yeah,
fact,
that was.
Puducherry CM N. Rangaswamy has stated that after several years, Puducherry has received 50 centimeter of rainfall, resulting in severe flooding. He is currently inspecting the field. Is concerned now. In fact, Puducherry
So that's a brief recall about what happened last year. So it's not the CM alone. Every citizen of Puducherry has to respond. It's not a single man's job. Okay. Okay. Building the resilience from the ground up. Uh, Logita, next one, please. Logita, please. Pillar one. Okay. Uh, Conservation agriculture, it's a very familiar word, and many of you may be aware of it. But to what extent we have progressed, and why it is relevant to this climate resilience agriculture? So before going into the details, the reasons for the climate change, the increased greenhouse gas emissions due to industrial emissions, multifold increase in fossil fuel burning during transport and for industrial usage of fossil fuel, and industrial emissions of greenhouse gases like nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, apart from emissions from wetlands, methane emission, which is 30 times having a higher greenhouse global warming potential compared to carbon dioxide. So increase from agricultural point of view, more area under paddy means more methane, because paddy is grown under submerged soil conditions. So instead of carbon escaping as CO2, from the submerged soils, it escapes as methane. CH4, so it increases 30 times, it can hold more, it can exert a greenhouse gas effect. So we have increased the area under paddy with the advent of irrigation facilities and private as well as government irrigation schemes have contributed to multifold increase in the area under paddy. So the land under submergent leads to increased emission of methane due to anaerobic conditions. So that's a principal factor contributing more to the global warming. And this the global warming leads to climate change and erratic weather events. It offsets the natural biogeochemical cycles. So that's why that's one of the reasons, and that is a proven reason now for the erratic events we are weather events we are facing in the recent past. Okay, next one. Conservation agriculture, yes, and precision agriculture and agroforestry. In conservation agriculture and agroforestry, we can take together. First, we will see the theoretical aspects in my presentation to start with. Then I will share my own case study as a farmer. I have worked as a scientist, and I was teaching environmental science in Pajankova for almost 10 years. Then my previous work, most of the work is also relevant to gaseous emissions and also dust emissions from cement industry and emissions from tannery. So environmental pollution and remediation is my area of interest. And in teaching also, so continuously teaching that made me more focused on this. I do not know how many of my students took up and this environmental aspect and ventured into those areas, but continuous teaching has made me, or my nervous system is intensified with environmental aspects. That is we call as NLP, neuro linguistic programming. So yes, I speak more and more of that. It acts like a mantra. So my work and my focus shifts towards these aspects. That's what happened. So I resigned my job and wanted to contribute something meaningful as a farmer, because farming is one of the most neglected and most challenging professions in the recent times. So I wanted to study the issues as a farmer, and using my knowledge, whatever I had, I wanted to evolve a solution in my locality. But whatever this practices I tried are relevant to the topic we are discussing, and it has a global relevance. So in that sense, I feel more relevant as a person to share my findings from the 7 years as a farmer and some 10 years as a researcher in environmental science and 10 years as a teacher. Okay. Next one, Logita. Efficient water management in irrigation, of course. The salinity issues, salt water intrusion has to do with more of this seawater intrusion, which is again due to excessive groundwater exploitation. Because with the increase in standard of living, it is not the uh, industrial revolution or increased standard of living has also contributed to we are a developing nation, and economy wise also we are improving. The per capita income is improving every year. So we spend not only for communication, not only for transportation, not only for our daily needs, and also people invest in agriculture also. So the irrigated agriculture has increased. Almost 99% of the crops grown in Puducherry are in under irrigated area. That is very special. Even though Karaikal, Mahe and Yanam receives sufficient rainfall, and in Karaikal and Yanam substantial area is under paddy. Of course, in Puducherry also 67% overall under paddy. But tube well irrigation and groundwater exploitation is more in Puducherry region. And I made a study also on salinity issues in Puducherry, in Metupalayam, and the industrial estates we have studied. along with a BSc Agri graduate, and that has also revealed even nitrate excess in groundwater, which has relevance to issues like methemoglobinemia, that blue baby syndrome disease. So, seawater intrusion and industrial pollution has also contributed to water quality issues, not only the groundwater depletion and declining groundwater table, also quality of water has also declined. That has also significance. Okay. Next one, Lavita. Crop diversification and stress tolerant varieties. Can we combine all this one? Can we have a solution, all in one solution? Is it really practicable? So I'm discussing about soil health management, crop diversification, agroforestry, conservation agriculture, of course, precision agriculture as well. Can we all combine this and have a single solution? This is what I thought of as a farmer, as an environmentalist. So I started. Before going into the my own findings and experiences of what I have learned. Let us have a closer look at the scenario in Puducherry. Look at the next one, please. So let us look at this data. Uh, in Puducherry, the agriculture workers contribution, you can the total workers and the percentage agricultural workers is highest in Karaikal and Yanam, followed by Puducherry, because more of urban oriented lifestyle in Puducherry. Whereas in Karaikal, more agriculture force is employed, 22%, and in Yanam it is close to 22%, whereas in Maga it is almost nil, only 1%. Next one, Logida. Among the source of irrigation, canal irrigation is 4,630 hectares. Tubal is 9,700. So 50% is canal, and almost double that is tubal, and other sources 33. And we have tanks, but tank fed irrigation is very minimal, looking compared to the other sources of irrigation. Okay. Then we have a look at the principal crops, and you will see paddy occupying two-thirds of the total cropped area. It is not only in Puducherry, in Tamil Nadu also. But when why this has become a principal crop means, it has more to do with the mindset of the farmers, mindset of the people, rather than it has relevance to economics or environment. Would you believe that? Yes, because it is less labor consuming. Given once you stagnate the land with water, only one or two weedings you have to do. After that, you can forget about weeding and other intercultural operations except for pesticide spraying. You can, after 90 days or 120 days or 5 months in the case of long duration crop, you can go for a machine harvest. So it is, you can plant with machine, you can harvest with machine, two major operations. Then one weeding, for weeding also now we have wetland weeders. So this is one factor that makes people to go for paddy. More than this, it has to do with mindset. See, before understanding the problems in agriculture, we should understand what human beings are or what farmers are. In that sense, what a human being is. So everyone who has a habit, developed a habit over a period of time, he tries to stick to it, irrespective of the environment and the outward environment. He sticks to his habit, from food habit to sleeping habit, even professionally also. What the one mostly rarely people are hardly very few people change their profession, change their habits. It because that is called we call as mindset. So people have, there was a food shortage in the early 1960s and in the late 1960s and 1970s. So green revolution has come, and high yielding paddy varieties were brought in. So from Madurai, a lot of varieties, IDT 39, 37 or 36 are very popular varieties, and even up to ADT 51, 56 has come now. 50, 58 if I am right. I have worked in Madurai also. So people see, when you look at the economics, it is hardly 6,000 to 12,000 per acre after 3 months. So, given the energy and time and management they put in the high yielding varieties or the conventional varieties what farmers grow, the economics is just 6,000 to 15,000. If you work out, because the cost of labor has increased multifold, but whereas the support prices are around 21 per kg, it hasn't increased further. So the yields have increased, but the income has decreased. But people have stuck to their habit because human being is like that, difficult to change. Hmm. So this is the economic challenge associated. But irrespective of the economic challenge, 15 to 20,000 is the maximum a farmer normally gets, and many farmers even suffer losses because of paddy cultivation. But the most of the area, even now, even in Tamil Nadu and even in the wetlands of Puducherry are grown with paddy. This is in the economic front. The environmental front also, I have already mentioned, it consumes most of the water. Unlike many other crops, it is the one of the most water consuming crops, you all know. The virtual water, we call it as more than, you can find out the liter of water every kg of grain has to, we spend to produce a kg of rice or paddy. In the environmental angle also, so water consumption is highest, whereas the greenhouse gas methane emission is also highest from paddy. So this is the environmentally also most damaging practice going for paddy. Economically also it is the most damaging to the farmer. But still people stick to cultivating paddy. This is because of habit. So this habit, see what the during before Green Revolution, people actually refuse to accept fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, because because of their habit. Earlier, they were habitual only to applying farmyard manure and cow-based or cattle-based manure and crop residues. So actually, scientists used to go in the night and apply without the knowledge fertilizers without the knowledge of farmers. So it is not the farmers who made the first change. It was the scientists who secretly applied this fertilizer, and after seeing the visible greenness after 2 to 3 days of fertilizer application, then they got carried away by the impact of fertilizers. Now after developing that new habit, now they find it to quit that habit. So something like that, government has to incentivize. If not, they cannot secretly go and change their farming or cropping pattern. They have to do give some incentive and to break this habit. That's what I mentioned here. Okay, the paddy, the next to paddy, you can see other crops all 17.3%, and sugarcane is the next major crop, 4.27%, and pulses 4.9%, all less than 5%, and fruits and vegetables 3.48%. Looking at the crop diversity in Puducherry's soil and crop diversity is more compared to Karaikal, where you have mostly paddy. In Yanam region also, it is a more diverse compared to Karaikal. Whereas in Maghe, it is more spices. You have substantial area under spices, and it is a diverse cropping area. But you have very little of paddy. So least contributing for greenhouse gas emission is Maghe. Can we emulate Mahe, or can we bring a situation something similar to Mahe, or something similar to agroforestry, something similar to a mixed crop? What Subhash Palekar has promoted, what these natural farming systems are advocating, is that possible? And is it having economic and in an environmental relevance? That is the point we are going to discuss today. Next one, Lokita. This table, yeah. When you look at the cropping pattern in the Union Territory of Puducherry during compare it with 21-22 and 22-23, I don't have the recent data. This I could access from the economist from Bajankova. There is a marginal decline of close to 1%, more than 1% from paddy comparing to 2021-22 to 22-23. From 67.5%, it has come down to 66.05%, almost a decline of 1.5%. That is a substantial decline. This has, I would rather say, or it has more, it can be due to the water availability and monsoon, uh, but also has to do with the remuneration, the economic outcome from paddy. Farmers should be tired in reaping less returns from paddy. Whereas there is a marginal increase in ragi, a millet ragi, 0.14 to 0.24. That is almost a 40% increase. This could be due to more intensive campaigning on millets and increased awareness of health-oriented food habits and fiber-rich an increased shift from consumption from paddy or rice to millet-oriented food. Now we could see more consumption and more value-added products in millets getting more common and lot of brands coming in millet-based food products. So accordingly, there is a shift in millet-based cropping also. Yeah, only marginal increase, but there is lot of scope. Still, more than 60% area in Puducherry is under paddy. Okay. A corresponding increase you can see in Kambu and Cholam also, almost doubled. But only marginal area, very marginal area compared to paddy. You have very less area in Kambu and Cholam. Okay, but there is an increase in pulses. There is a decline in sugarcane. In sugarcane also, farmers are looking for wherever when farmers are looking for supporting price means they are already overproducing. Friends, you kindly believe me, don't rely on the facts saying that we have to increase the production. Kindly, we all have to change that mindset. We all have to shift our mindset from quantity oriented agriculture to quality oriented agriculture, both in the economic front as well as environmental front. So we are already overproducing. That's why farmers could not get that profit. Why they are getting less returns means the supply is higher than the demand. That's why they overproduce and seek support price. In spite of the support price, government cannot also support or double the price. So in spite of all this, they get a less return. They produce around 35 bags per acre, and the area under paddy is more than sufficient. It is higher. That's why when the produce, it is merely a supply and demand equation. Higher the supply, then for a given demand, if the supply increases, the price will be low. That is the issue. You think about the prices of onion and tomato. Sometimes it goes even beyond 100 rupees and 150 rupees. It is because of short supply. But whereas in the case of paddy, have you ever faced a short supply? Have you ever faced a paddy, the conventional paddy is selling for rupees more than 70 rupees per kg? It is around 50 to 60 rupees only. Most of the paddy consumed, most of the rice consumed. Okay, so they are overproducing. In the case of sugarcane also, the area is already has crossed the demand. So that's why they are facing issues in with the factories. So they get less return. Okay. So this is right time to think about not only on the environmental angle, but also on the economic angle in the farmer's point of view. Only when farmer is getting profit, he can sustain farming. He can even think about only when he safeguards himself economically, he can think about safeguarding the environment. It is not that you and me alone or the academicians or the politicians, they can change the agriculture. It is the farmer ultimately who has to change his habit towards environment friendly agriculture, towards climate resilient agricultural practices, for which first he should be economically self resilient. So that is a point which we all have to bear in mind, including the farmers, including the researchers, including the students. Then only we can. Otherwise, whatever the finding will not reach the farmland, will not reach the farmer, and will not reach the farmland, and will not reach the environment. Okay. Next one. Logida, next one. So looking at the horticultural crops, there is a wide variety of horticultural crops, mostly in Puducherry and Yanam regions and also in Maghe regions. There is lot of scope. Giving the higher area under Puducherry, more than 9,000 hectares, and the nature of soil, the well-drained and mostly red soil dominated area, we have lot of scope. Coconut, sugar, other than coconut, sugarcane, and paddy, we can think about expanding these smaller proportion of crops to larger areas. We have to replace paddy with these crops. So the area under paddy will decline, so that the production declines, so that it so that the prices, we create an opportunity, a space to increase the prices. So yeah, you think about an industry where if the supply is higher, they will shut down the production, so that the falling prices are reversed. Whereas in agriculture, irrespective of the rainfall, people routinely start going for paddy. This situation we have to replace with this with a diversified, more diversified, ecologically stable, a mixed agroforestry kind of a mixed crop, multi-tier cropping system. So we can use all these crops. Yes, onion, brinjal, yam, cucumber, pumpkin, vegetables, coriander, pepper, tamarind, turmeric, banana, jackfruit, guava, so cashew nut, tapioca, sweet potatoes. All these these areas have to be increased from the very low proportion, very minor area to replacing paddy. Okay. Okay, now we had a look at a broad view of what is the major crop in Puducherry region, and what is the major practice, and what is the major habit, and what should be done to change the habit. Okay, with this background, now I am sharing my own experience of sustainable soil management as a key intervention among all the pillars we have seen. This is a key intervention for climate resilient agriculture. Because as I have already shared, I want to re-emphasize that once you drain the soil, once you keep the soil moist, instead of flooding the soil with water, as in the case of paddy, if you just keep the soil moist, there will be more air. So whatever the carbon accumulating will be recycled as carbon dioxide. So that will contribute less to climate change. So the amount of methane generated will be reduced. Okay. One for this, what we can do? Just we recall these landslides and flooding and lot of soil carried away along with the flood water. Why this happens? All should be heard of this technique known as Loida. The next one, please. So what we can do to arrest this? Please recollect. We have to learn from nature. Nature is already teaching us a lot of lessons, and we have to just open our mind. So in forest with thick vegetation, you rarely you get the waterfalls. You look at the streams; they are very clear. Only during peak rainfall, in with human intervention, in areas wherein we have gone for monoculture, replacing a diverse cropping system with monocrops like tea or potato or any other hilly vegetables. That only then plowing and destabilizing soil, destroying the soil structure is a key, and also laying roads, transportation. All this actually disturbs the natural ecosystem, and the strength of the soil strength is disturbed. That's why the water, due to poor soil structure, lot of erosion happens along the running water. So the weight of the soil and the flood and with its rubbles increases. So as huge masses landslides occur. So when you have cover crops like this, in between, for example, here in between moringa, groundnut or pulse crop is grown. So this takes care of higher ground horse gram. So this takes care of soil erosion. Even during rainfall, it covers the soil and checks it from direct exposure to rainfall. Next one, please. So we can have cover crops, legumes especially like horse gram or groundnut or cowpea in between these perennial crops. Next one, please. Next one, Logita. Logita? Yeah. So just you look at this picture wherein I haven't done anything. I have allowed even coconut fronds to remain there itself. Why? Because the coconut fronds which have fallen under the tree, they decomposed and the nuts were all. I just practiced natural farming. I didn't do much intervention and I just observed what is happening. So, see what a for growing a coconut nursery, you are preparing a potting media with sand, coir pith, and manure at 1:1 ratio. You mix and put it in a polythene bag. You create a very favorable climate. That favorable climate is already created here, and you can see in the self-sown coconut. Coconut seedlings have emerged of its own because I have not disturbed the soil. I have not disturbed the coconut fronds which have fallen over. They decomposed and they have developed a better conducive soil structure. Utilizing that, whatever the coconut fallen has germinated of its own. Just to show you that when you allow the natural process to proceed without plowing much, there itself develops a conducive soil environment. Okay, next one. Next one, Logita. So here I have practiced this mulching for apart from coconut. The previous slide, please. Previous one. Uh, Next one. Okay. Okay. Next one. Okay. We have minimized the number of slides. Okay. These are bundled mulching crop residues. I had grown Cambo Napier grass separately and harvested just like making bundles of fodder. You might have seen balers making bundles of straw, paddy straw. I have used machines to cut a company appear. You can use this brush cutter. You can use a separate tool to cut the grasses and made them as bundles. I just applied them just along the crop row. This mulching is a very common term. Many scientists know, many students know, they write in exams, but very few farmers practice. But this is one of the key technique, suggested as one of the four pillars of conservation agriculture by natural farming technique by Subhas Palekar and also by Nammalwar, because they insisted on crop residue recycling. But what I have used here, I have tried what they have suggested. I didn't do any bundling. I just spread the crop residue as it is, as they have advocated. Subhas Palekar and Namarwal, they have not mentioned about bundling the crop residue, but from by accidentally I used to one of the fodder bundles which got wet and spoiled during rainfall. So I just used those spoiled bundles. Then after 1 year of observation, I found that the soil beneath looked entirely different, and it has a humus content which supported the crop growth and crop wealth, which is superior to rest of the field. So after having witnessed this, and then I followed this for the entire field. I grow this moringa for leaves. I didn't go for drumstick because drumstick is for the produce for which most of the farmers in Tupur district go for. 98% of area in Tamil Nadu is for drumstick, not for leaves, for the parts only. But with a higher demand for export, and there is an increased demand nowadays also the demand has increased for moringa leaves. So I just changed. It is an out of box thinking in my area. So I changed. I didn't follow what others did. So I grow moringa for leaves. Wherein for weed control, it is an organically certified farm. I cannot use pesticides or herbicides. Rather, I cannot use Roundup, or I cannot use herbicides. So the leaves produced should be to match export quality standards, should be free from any pesticides. So my farm is a certified organic farm. So I used this bundle mulching and found it very effective because I spend a lot of money to harvest the crop residue and put spread over the land in between the rows. There is a 6 feet row, but only on both sides of the crop up to 1.5 feet. I have used these bundles. Earlier, I without bundle I used, but I could sustain that mulching only to 1.5 to 2 months, not beyond 2 months. But when I used bundles, the but mulching period increased fourfold. It lasted up to 9 to 10 months. That is a simple and very effective intervention I made. Instead of just spreading the crop residues, one of the key interventions suggested in natural farming, instead of spreading the crop residues as it is, I have made them into bundles. Just using a coir twine, I made into bundle, and it has increased the duration of mulching. Thereby, the my weed control operation, the cost of my weed control operation has gone down 3 times. For weed control and only I have used this. Then, but whatever the other benefits I realized are very heartwarming to me. Next one, Logira. Next one, yeah. For in organic farming or in any natural farming, for farming is has to do with life. Now you can see even for transporting sheep, uh, a small they use this shed, and that shed is not made from iron. So any life, any organism to thrive, these basic aspects are you need shade, you need water or moisture, and you need food, carbon source. Whatever the most of the food we consume are carbon. So this is critical for any life. So for any life to flourish, any life to perform to its fullest potential, including you. You are having a house to provide shelter. You have a water connection to meet your water requirement. You consume vegetarian pulses and non-vegetarian to meet your protein requirement. You take carbohydrates as carbon source, and during the breakdown of glucose, you get energy. Similar, this thing applies to all organisms, starting from elephant to ant, and also to a microorganism in the soil. Only when we take care of all these, but whether our farming practices provide all this, that is the question, my friends. You please think of. We do plowing. Whether plowing helps to provide shade, whether plowing helps to keep moisture in the soil, whether plowing helps to retain carbon in the soil. These are the questions I'm asking. Okay, next one, Lokita. Okay, yeah. Most of the coconut fronds or whatever the crop residue gathered is thrown outside, or in sometimes it is burned. What you are seeing in the picture is they have burned the coconut fronds, and while doing so they have burned the living or the alive fronds also. The tree also damaged. You can see up to 15 feet the effect of flame has gone, and even the lower branches got dried. So it is again a habit. They see it as a rubbish, they see it as a garbage. They see it, these crop residues are still, even now, are seen as a unwanted, just like unwanted thing. But actually, these are the food. These are the carbon source for the soil microbes and soil, not only for soil microbes, not only for earthworm, and also for all other soil macrofauna, for termites also. Have you ever thought about the role of termites? The mostly we see termites as villains, and in urban area you call this pest control people and you inject lot of anti-termite chemicals. So you see it as a villain, as an enemy, but it is one of the most benefiting friend for conservation agriculture, for soil health friendly agriculture. Termite is one of the most contributing macrofauna. Okay, come below. But that can act so only when you leave the crop residues, only when manage the crop residues, only when return the crop residues, carbon residue back to the soil. Next one, Lokita. Next one, please. Yeah, I'm sharing my own experiences. Next one, a case study from Mulanur, Tripur district. It is a relatively drier area with just 700 rainfall, arid, almost subhumid to arid climate. I tried this papaya and moringa together. Okay, in a mixed cropping system. Now I have this papaya under coconut, and those now under coconut it is performing more efficiently. So I have shifted from the routine crops here. I had grown moringa for leaves. Okay, next one, please. Next one, please, Logita. Yeah, another view. Next one. Yeah, this is a mixed cropping system where you have moringa and papaya. You will not see a clean field like this. This is a very clean and a very pakka field to many farmers and many scientists, because you see only one monoculture and it looks very uniform. But this is not beautiful to the nature. This is not beautiful to the microorganisms. This is not beautiful to climate resilient agriculture. See, this photograph was taken 2 months ago from a different field wherein they expose the soil to direct sunlight. When you expose the soil directly to sunlight, removing all the weeds and not recycling any crop residue from the previous crop, so due to the, can you stand in this hot sun for more than 1 hour like this? Then how you expect the soil fauna, earthworm and termites and other organisms to work for you? Is it enough if you supply biofertilizer through the drip lines to this totally exposed soil? Do you think that those all will work? Biofertilizers are just seeds. For those seeds to expand in number, you need carbon source, you need moisture. But when you keep all this land completely clean and without any residue, how can then during rain happens, what will happen? There is no pores. Only when you keep residues, the termites will act, the earthworms will act, and there will be lot of pores generated. You will watch a video later on. Maybe Logida, can you play that video now? The one I was explaining about papaya. Please play that video now. Friends, kindly bear with the delay. Mm, kindly keep focus till the end. Mm, keep your attention. Please, audio is not. Whether audio is also coming? Logida, you see that audio is also.
Friends, do you want to have prasad from your own farmland? Listen to me. I'm Dr. Sarun, a soil scientist. Now I'm full-time organic farmer. When I say organic farming, it's not that providing fertilizers and pesticides around is not organic farming. It's not organic. Making soil organic doesn't end with applying some few tons of farmyard manure, as you see here. Okay, but do you see any life here? In this soil, do you see any life here? Rarely you see life because it is exposed to the sun. Yeah, for any life, just like you and me, need a shelter and food and moisture to thrive, which you can see in this particular part of land, wherein we don't keep the soil clean, we don't plow the soil, we feed the soil organisms with what they deserve. Now you can see there is full of ant holes, you see. And there are a lot of insects also, insect activity also. Lot of ants moving here, see, many insects moving here. See, there is a worm here, see, full of insect activity. So this is what an organic soil is. An organic soil needs food and the food is these plant residues. Only when this is provided, shelter is also provided, moisture is also conserved, carbon, food is also provided. So all these organisms when act as a company, their excreta, not only the earthworm excreta, all these organisms excreta create a condition similar to a forest soil. So the papaya grown on this, utilizing those humus-rich organic nutrients, is very tasty. I have thousands of feedbacks. One of the most delicious papaya fruits which have been ever produced. Would you like to taste?
Okay, coming back to the presentation, yeah.
This
Friends,
is your
yeah,
papaya is grown organically with mulching.
okay. I think we can come back to the PowerPoint presentation, the slides. Yes, Logita, thank you. Yeah, you just now compare this field. This is the conventional method of growing, not only papaya. You assume all the um, vegetables or any other major crop. First, they do tilling. Tillage, but I don't say that you should not do tillage at all. I'm not saying that. But after doing that, you should cover the soil with crop residue. You for the initial establishment, definitely tillage helps because it loosens the soil. But more than that, to conserve that tilth, the fine tilth and porous and soil obtained, you have to mulch the soil. Then only that tilth can be sustained till the crop duration, end of the crop duration. Or in the case of perennial crops, up to 1 year or 2 year, that tilth can be conserved. See, you imagine a plowed land. Yesterday evening it was plowed with rotavator or country plow, whatever it is. Next day, if there happens 1 hour intense rainfall, 2 centimeter rainfall, how the soil surface will look like? You compare that with the plowed surface and one after that rainfall, how will it look like? How the surface will be sealed because of the destruction of soil structure. But whereas under a mulch, these bundles of mulches will bear the weight or force of the raindrops, thereby protecting the soil aggregates, micro aggregates from broken down. Only when they are broken down, the clay will disperse and will disperse and deposit over the surface of the soil, forming a surface crust that will make the water to flow sidewards, not downwards. So whatever the rainfall received will go as runoff. But whereas when we keep the soil full of organic matter residue, it bears the impact of the raindrops. Thereby, it protects the soil structure developed beneath. Okay. Okay. So not only that, the soil organic, you can have a close look of this. I make a bundle. Why this bundle has to be made? It is again, it is, we call it as point load. Instead of spreading the residues, when you make it as a bundle, it exerts a better weight over the land. So thereby it makes a better contact with the soil And the wind is also not allowed to go through in between the mulch and the soil land surface or soil surface. Thereby it avoids moisture loss. And also, for any organism to multiply in number, not only microorganisms but macrofauna, it needs a shelter, it needs a habitat. It provides a habitat, durable habitat, not just 3 months. It provides a habitat for 8 months. For 8 months duration, if it remains undisturbed, it is decomposed by disintegration. Actually, the termites act over it and bring almost uh, from 1 feet below, the soil is brought 1 feet above. I have seen in 6 months the entire 1 feet height of the bundle mineralized and mixed with the soil up to 1 feet height. So it is not the tractor which alone which can till the soil. What a tractor tills in 1 hour can be done by termites in 1 month, or maybe 2 months in certain cases according to soil type. But whatever the tillage done beneath these crop residues, these bundle mulches by the termites will be preserved for 6 months, irrespective of the rainfall or sunlight. The life will be preserved. Whereas in a machine tilled soil, in an open exposed agricultural land, the soil structure will last only till the next irrigation, if it's going to be a flood irrigation, or till the next rainfall. Okay. But with the advancement in irrigation techniques, with micro irrigation techniques, with the lateral hoses we are using, we can judiciously combine this mulching. Below these mulching bundles, you can have these drip lines. Thereby, you can keep the moisture localized to the cropping area, avoiding weed growth in the in between rows, and also supply the adequate moisture for macrofauna as well as microfauna. Thereby, the entire soil ecosystem is enhanced in its health. Will you believe if I say the soil organic carbon content has increased up to 3% in 9 months' time? From less than 0.5% to 3%. It is sixfold increase. Do you think that this is a small intervention? No, we are not open to it. I request you all friends, if you don't believe me, just you harvest any crop residue or even paddy residue. Better you combine, make it as a mixed crop residue. Paddy is having a wider seed ratio, because it will not have adequate nitrogen for the micro and macrofauna to eat and build their biomass. So you combine a pulse and cereal crop, or you can use this combinable grass. It's very easy to harvest and make a bundle, and just apply for just over 10 feet length. Make a 1 feet width and 1 feet height. One, yeah, bundle of that and keep it just below two crops or just beside a crop which is perennial, banana or even tapioca or this papaya or even cotton or even for bendy or for longer duration brinjal. For shorter duration crops, it may be difficult, but as an intercrop you can grow these shorter duration crops. For any crop which has a duration more than 4 months, you can use this technique, and just watch. Just allow that bundle as it is and keep the changes happening beneath every month or every fortnight. Then you will understand, even though we know this technique, we didn't know how to apply it. And once we apply it, what are the benefits we get? See, friends, to increase soil organic carbon from 0.5% to 1%, it takes 4 tons of farmyard manure. If you apply 4 tons of organic manure, that is almost 2 tractor loads over 1 acre, you will increase it to from 0.5% to 1% only for 1 month period. After 1 month, most of that will decompose. In 2 months, it will again, after the crop duration, you will get it back to 0.5%. This is the scenario happening all over India. Organic carbon status is less than 0.5% because of poor soil cover practices. Poor soil management, instead of saying that, I will rather say poor soil habitat management. Poor soil cover or poor soil habitat management, I will say. Because you all know that every gram soil has more than 1 lakh microorganisms. More than that, it has macrofauna, huge number of macrofauna. You just do that, every one of you do that, even in your backyard you do. Even if you have 1 cent of piece of land, you do that. It is, I would rather say, it's your responsibility. So, so you now make a calculation. Doing farmyard manure application, 2 tractor loads per acre, up to 4 tractor loads people normally apply, and getting back the soil carbon levels back to 0.5% within a crop duration is just because of improper soil cover or soil habitat practices. Only with soil, proper soil cover, proper soil shade, we can provide a better habitat. Better habitat means continuous macrofaunal and microfloral activity, so soil carbon sustenance is there. Instead of only under open sunlight, the aerobic bacteria is very fast in decomposing all the crop residues or manure, and the soil carbon level gets back to 0.5%. But under proper soil cover, it reaches up to 3%. That means 3% means how many tractor loads? Friends, please calculate. From 0.5 to 1%, it took 4 tons. 1 to 2% means 8 tons. 2 to 3 means 12 tons. You just think 6, it is equal to applying 6 tractor loads of 6 tractor loads of farmyard manure by just keeping these bundle mulches alone. But this is sustained up to 9 to 10 months. So once the carbon levels when stored are 3 times, almost it is, we have 6 times we have increased from 0.5 to 3%. It was ranged from 2 to 3%. The highest increase was up to 3% in soil surface from 0 to 15 centimeter soil. When I analyzed the carbon level just below the bundle mulch, it reached 3%. So it is wrong to say we cannot increase the soil carbon levels beyond 0.5%, because Indian climate is like that. Because of the sun. Sun is one of the emblem in the Indian cricket team. It is a sunny country. But you all can have a shelter. Why don't you have the mind to provide the same shelter to the soil organisms also? When you do that, you can increase it. So it is a myth to say beyond 0.5 to 1% we cannot increase soil carbon is wrong. We have to change our mindset and change our habits. If we change our habits, we can increase the carbon levels. Okay. Is it practical to do it? What is the labor consumed? As a farmer, I have underwent all these challenges. Lohita, please change to the next slide. Now this papaya, this I have harvested during immediately after the monsoon. You will have luxuriant growth of this colocati grass. Naturally, there will be weed growth. Instead of spraying glyphosate, I just used labor to harvest. Whereas you can use machinery like brush cutter, harvesting with a harvesting tool. There is a serrated disc you can use, with which you can reduce the cost of harvesting. Just like paddy bundles, I have harvested and transported these bundles and stored them and used them after the crop has grown above 1 feet high. Then instead of limiting myself to 5 acres, now I am having 10 acres land under irrigation, micro irrigation. Because I have covered the land with these bundle mulches, I have enhanced the irrigation interval from 3 days to 5 days. So these bundle mulches act as against the sun, so it keeps the soil moisture preserved for almost double the duration. Whatever the irrigation I given, it is not exposed to the sun, so it is retained for a long. It is the evaporation has been brought to down to 40%. Okay, next one. So this is how once I started with the entire land I have filled with these bundles of mulches. But they take 9 to 10 months. After that, you have to again do this mulching. But given the other unsustainable weed management, if you do weeding after 15 days, if you do a mechanized or manual weeding or hoeing, after 15 days, if you irrigate or if you have a sufficient rainfall, again the weeds will flourish. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? But once I do, this isn't like a fixed deposit. I have to invest more on this bundle mulching because of the labor involved. I have allocated a portion of land exclusively for this growing this mulching material. Is it wrong to allocate an exclusive area for mulching material? You may have this question. Maybe I may be, you may think that you may call in your own word. But I feel I am a wise man as a responsible citizen, as a responsible farmer who is reducing on quantity area. I am reducing on area under particular crop because the entire problem in Indian agriculture and the farmers crisis has to do more with overproduction and less price and less profit, whereas due to non-availability of labor, increased cost of cultivation. So why should I grow an extra acre and look for more labor and spend more on labor? Instead, I grow a mulching material like Kambu napier grass or Kolkata grass, which has no other intercultural operation other than sowing and irrigation. That also I'm growing and micro irrigation only. Then sowing, irrigation and harvesting. I get this a new weed control method wherein it is not the quantity only. Not only I have reduced the quantity, but I have enhanced the quality. When I analyzed the crop produce, this papaya, because I received a lot of feedback from the consumers that is it is very good in taste. Then when I analyzed and discussed it with a nutritionist, then I found that the polyphenol content, even the anti-cancer contributing principles, the antioxidants content in the produce was high. This is how the forest produce, why forest produce is considered highly medicinal and healthy and tasty means it has to do with the higher humus established. Nobody does the tillage, nobody removes the leaf litter. It is allowed. The rest of the thing, the soil organisms take care, not the microbes alone. All the soil macro and microfauna. So there is no irrigation, no tillage, but the soil structure develops. When soil structure develops, the aggregates are preserved. Water stable aggregates are preserved. During rainfall, the rainwater trickles through the leaf litter and doesn't destroy the soil structure. Thereby, the water coming out from such intensively littered forest lands are very pure. That's why you feel like taking bath in Kutralam. The falls, the natural falls, they are very pure, very transparent. You don't see this mud carried away. Mud is carried only when you have unprotected soil. Just like, every plowed soil surface or land surface loses 17 tons of soil every year. An unmulched, a plowed land, intensively cultivated land loses 17 tons on an average from an Indian agricultural land. And it takes more than 1,000 years for an inch of soil to form. So just by switching to this mulching technique with a small intervention, instead of spreading as just as crop residues, making them as bundles, it enhances the duration of mulching, it enhances the humus formation, it enhances the soil carbon sequestration. We achieve multiple benefits, not only in soil health, not only in climate resilient agriculture by reducing CO2 release, we also enhance the crop quality. So thereby we achieve three things. One, we contribute to farmers' economy by reducing quantity. I shift half of my land or 30% of my land for raising mulching material, wherein I employ less labor. So instead of growing 10 acres paddy or 10 acres coconut or 10 acres moringa, 7 acres only, 3 acres for mulching material. So my lab cost of cultivation reduces. I produce a mulching material that I use in the other 7 acres, wherein I reduce the weed control cost by applying this. Then I enhance the produce quality. Then I curtail the CO2 release. I sequester more carbon in the soil, contribute to global climate change mitigation. This is how this mulches act in the very early stages. After 1 month, I apply. I even store them. Keep them ready. Otherwise, if you don't keep them ready, weeds will take over. Then weeds will use the mulches and grow, competing with the crops. So this is a new thing, but it now my papaya analyzed also is having very. This is a sugarcane field wherein you can see earlier people used to have this practice of using recycling sugarcane trash, but now see these people used to burn this crop sugarcane residue. Even in some areas in northern India, in near Haryana and Punjab, they burn this paddy residue. But effectively combining this with other carbon nitrogen rich residues, by balancing the carbon and nitrogen ratio, they can effectively use it as a mulching material and contribute to carbon farming. Yeah, and thereby enhance. So people should now, yeah, this is another view of the land paddy. Now we have tree, sandal, then teak, in which in the early stages we are intercropping with papaya and moringa. So this is a farm cluster. After seeing the success in my farm, now 7 farmers have moved to this kind of agroforestry with horticulture as well as agriculture. So mixed farming systems. We increase the area by farming a cluster with a similar management, and we supply it in a single brand name. As Co-Health is our brand name. Our produce fetches a higher price. I sell it for above 30 rupees per kg. My papayas are sold above 30 rupees per kg, wherein other farmers' produce are sold for just 14 rupees per kg. So it is, I have enhanced the quality of the fruit by enhancing its nutrition and taste. You know, you know the taste of whether your mom has cooked, whether it is a home food or it's a home food from hotel. Your tongue is the best sensor. I trust on the consumer's tongue. They know which is better, so they are continuously supporting. They ask why they does, but when I could not supply 1 month or 1 week, yeah, not 1 month, I switched to another papaya. There were a lot of complaints. Why this papaya is not that tasty? We don't want this. They returned the papaya I supplied from the other farm, which wherein we have not followed this technique. So this is again a case study wherein you see you can even change the food habit. Even you can align your customers to a particular taste, to a superior taste. Superior taste comes only when you have organic farming, just like what you have in forest. So switching to such eco-friendly. Eco-friendly means treating the soil as a home. House, with a home means a home should have a house. House means it should provide shelter. Only when you have shelter, you have this moisture and all organisms living together. So I found this is successful and economical also, superior also, and contributing to climate resilience. I have just 6 minutes left in my battery, so I'm looking for questions. Any questions, please? I'm ready to answer. Maybe I can charge. Meanwhile, Loila, you can go through the rest of the slides. I don't know because we have just 8 minutes left. This is a plastic mulch used farm wherein you can check the weed growth, but you cannot supply carbon source. You cannot make the soil organic. You can check weed growth, supply save some more moisture, not all moisture, but you will increase the soil heat, but you will decrease the soil biodiversity. These plastics will also on decomposition add soluble plastics load in the soil that has a long term impact, especially for crops or produce which have export significance. Next one. This is a mulching technique which is unsustainable, which is not eco-friendly. Okay, this is again carbon, but not plastic, but not a utilizable carbon, assimilable carbon for the microbes. Okay, next one. You see the difference in the soil. I have taken. You need not analyze it. You see it by your eyes itself. One looks gray, dark gray, and more moist and well aggregated, whereas the other one looks like a loose powder of soil. When exposed to the rain, the soil particles will be lost, carried away by the run of water. Whereas in the other one, you say, which recorded 3% soil organic carbon. In the other one, you see only less than 0.5%. This is how soil is made healthy, made as a home below a bundle mulch. A small, simple intervention which I have made, which contributed to enormous soil health enhancement. It is, but I admit that this is not suited to paddy or such small spaced short duration crops. But those short duration crops are uneconomical. Uneconomical. Then what is the fun in continuing that? An uneconomical, unprofitable short duration crop, and especially in a well drained soil which we have in Puducherry, why should we stuck just because that's a habit which we have to discontinue? With interventions like you experiment, don't just follow just because these are all some Kambu Napier bundles, easy to make, less costly, more durable because of higher lignin content. Yeah, next one. You get not only for papaya. This is the report, soil carbon report. I have compared the intermulched area and mulched area. You will see many 2.4%, 1.5, 3.074, 1.7. You will see also 0.08, 0.6, zero point 0.5. These are all unmulched areas. You will see 2.057. Last but one row. These and above 1% in many cases. So these are sampled from different durations of mulching. More the duration of mulching, higher the soil organic carbon content. So managing higher soil organic carbon in soil is equal to higher soil carbon sequestration, which is equal to climate resilient agriculture, which is equal to reducing carbon dioxide in atmosphere. These are all the farms. The first farm, now we have introduced bundle mulching. This is before intervention. Can we see another picture wherein we have a mulched land? No. Now it is, this field is under mulching. So this is a case study. Yes, not just as a scientist, of course, with the scientific background, as a farmer who was very passionate about really caring for soil. I expect some of you to just experiment what I did, just try and look and verify and validate whether whatever I shared is true and really contribute. As a fellow citizen, not just as a scientist, not as a farmer, just as a fellow citizen, I request everyone who is watching till now, it is a long time I know, who is watching, you respect farmers who grow organic produce, who look for a premium price because it's due. They care for your health. Definitely, scientifically, they are healthy. They don't use those genuine organic farmers. Just because of a few do mistakes, don't brand all the genuine organic farmers and don't mistrust them. Pay the due price. They care for your environment. Because organic farming doesn't start in the farms, it starts from your home, starts from your asked you from as a customer, from your mother, from your father. Don't look for bargaining. Don't look for cheap produce. Cheap produce, I will say, not by price alone. Grown cheaply, without caring for the customer, without caring for the environment. Produce grown for cheap. Only cheap people go for cheap produce and bargain cheaply. I expect as honorable citizens, responsible citizens who care for nature, because all what your body is made of is most of that is from water and soil, and that only when that is kept healthy you can be healthy, and it's your responsibility. Your body doesn't end with your body. Your lungs are the trees outside. It extends to the trees outside, and your body is made from the mineral driven from the soil. All the organisms which made the processes possible to supply those nutrients to your body. So I request, as customers, not only as farmers, not only as scientists, to switch to more eco-friendly farming practices. Don't use that word organic, and don't mistrust eco-friendly, quality-oriented agriculture. Because quantity-oriented agriculture was the need of the past. When people were starving for food, it was the requirement. Now the need is quality. More hospitals are coming. More health issues, diabetics is coming. So it's time to change to quality-oriented agriculture, from politicians to scientists to customers. And that organic or eco-friendly farming techniques start from the customers. I have enough evidences. Then only, so farmer, it is not farmer's responsibility. It is responsibility of every citizen to switch and support by paying the price due. You will, because 30% of area I am foregoing, so I won't get the produce from that 30%. Instead, I supply a quality produce, so I have to get a premium price. I care. I don't apply cheap fertilizers and increase the quantity. I produce less, but a quality produce. Why a man who care for others should end on a loss-making agriculture farming? This is my question as a genuine farmer who cares for soil and cares for you. Now it's time for questions. Yeah, my presentation over. I'm ready to answer any questions. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for the patience. Whoever remained patient and listened. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks to Lohida, who was supportive in preparing this, because I was grazing the cattle and preparing slides with the support of my daughter. Thank you. Any questions, please? Yeah, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, sir. The participants are now open to ask questions. You can also post your questions in the chat box if you are not able to ask directly.
Okay. Maybe you can write your comments. You can even show objections or questions. Real, it is not practical, or it is how can we do like that. You may have your mind may ask some questions, but I want them, because I want this technique to be expanded. Whatever the practical issues need to be sorted out. As a scientist and I have done whatever the interventions and modifications required and analyzed in all possible angles, not only in environmental, in economical aspect as well. But if I have missed any points, if I have spoken as a single-minded person, then I am looking for interventions. I am looking for your inputs. I am looking for your suggestions. Yeah, please.
Sir, there are no questions, I suppose. We are
No
moving to
question. may know how many participants were
Sir,
present in
good evening,
the.
sir.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Good evening, sir. Actually, your talk is very nice, sir. It's very informative and really it's a very good effort you have kept it, sir. I really, frankly speaking, my lifetime goal was that only to be having such kind of agriculture and stay in that kind of lifestyle.
Can you
The
can
thing
you
is,
please can you please your name yourself? You shall tell
I'm
your
Dr.
name.
M. Lakshmi Prasuna, sir. I'm
Okay.
working as assistant professor in Avyar College, Karaikal Botany Department, sir.
Thank you, madam. But
Okay.
please,
So
first,
I,
my first request is you look for organic food and pay the price, additional price if required.
yes, yes, that is true,
Okay.
sir, definitely.
Then
Because the best ex,
join hands with people like us. Huh? Yeah.
yes, sir,
Thank
sure,
you.
sure, definitely.
Continue. If you have anything more to say, please carry on.
Yes, sir. Actually, the thing is, one good reason for not getting more information is a lack of awareness on this one, sir.
Yeah.
So I think,
People don't know how to manage soil. People don't know how to
yes, sir,
manage soil.
exactly.
What is soil and how to manage soil. Even the educated, even the scientists, I will say.
Yes, yes, sir.
Because I have seen, I'm
Because
not over
even
exaggerating. Mm.
no, no, it's true, sir. Because if you take an example of university campuses,
Yeah.
not many trees will be maintained in the university campuses. The thing is, there will be whatever the dry leaves and waste will be there. They thought that it is looking ugly, so we should clean the campus.
Yeah.
Like that, they'll remove everything and they'll keep it very clean and tidy. So such a kind of things are happening. Even in research institutes itself, it is happening. Means, so it is a kind of awareness lacking. I feel so, sir. So I would like to. I mean, if you are willing, means I would like to invite you a like a talk for our students. Is it
Sure.
possible for you,
Sure.
sir?
Yeah, sure. You get my number is, I didn't mention my number. If anybody
Yes, sir.
interested, they can note down because this is a mission for which I have resigned my job some 7 years
Yes,
back.
yes, sir. Okay.
I was working in Karakal earlier. So
Yes, sir.
nine double
Okay.
four, nine double four,
Oh, okay.
three two nine, three two
Three
nine,
two nine
5785.
5785.
Uh,
Okay. Thank
then,
you so much, sir. I'll get
yeah,
you back, sir.
yeah,
Because we
you
need
you
people
can,
like you, sir.
yeah, I can send papayas, those premium papayas from here. I can send there. So you make a
Sure, sure, sir.
consumer group. You make a consumer group. First you taste, then make a consumer group. There starts the expansion. When consumers
Yes, sir.
expand, who are ready to pay the due price, then the farming expands.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir. Thank you
thank you.
so much, sir. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
a very
any other
informative
comment?
talk.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Lakshmi
That's it.
madam. Any other?
Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Good
Sir,
evening.
Start Lakshmi from Science and Technology Environment Department, sir.
Okay,
I have one simple question, sir.
okay.
Sir, that was a very insightful presentation regarding that
Thank you.
crop residue field, sir. I have only
Okay,
a simple question regarding the safety aspects, sir.
okay. Yeah.
So,
uh,
whether
I
the
have a
farmers,
complex. Yeah, that's very good. You please complete.
yes, sir, do the farmers need to take any safety measures while they are doing this kind of crop
Yeah,
residues, sir?
yes. In a mixed cropping system, but if you keep the inter row spaces clean, there is no need to take much of safety efforts. But you have these gumboots. I have bought gumboots and provided to the laborers. Here I will give that is a management. Gumboot, if you wear gumboot, even if you come across, see, I am doing this for 7 years. Please, you believe me, I used to spray herbal extracts by midnight. Because I am having a cluster of 7 farms. I used to move from one farm to another farm. I used to harvest papaya by 3 a.m.
Okay.
So this is a routine practice. I have never come across any untoward incident. I use my mobile phone as light, nothing else. But you can use gumboot for those who are very much worried about. There will be fauna, flora, but in I have for this the answer is complex. I told you know why it is complex because my own daughter will not agree with me because she is so young, doesn't know much of spirituality. When you really care for nature, created that with that ultimate intelligence, the creation has the ultimate intelligence. When you care for that and you live in line with that, you are taken care. Wherever I step, I will not find snakes. So my this is science may not be linked to spirituality, but people are linked to spirituality. People only develop science, and people only are spiritual in nature also. So there comes the spiritual aspect of it. If you do good, see, this is an example. I never care about wherever I put, I step in, even in the bushes, I don't come across anything. So your clock, my clock, every steps, my clock will be tuned in a such a way that wherever I go, it doesn't nothing untoward happens. It may be it look very foolish to look at a logical angle. For logical minds, you can wear gumboots. Yeah, you can wear gumboots, you can carry starches. Uh, but to live a holistic life, it is not promoting or safeguarding human alone. I already told the oxygen which comes from photosynthesis is supplied to our lungs. So my lungs extends to the tree. The carbon dioxide I emit during respiration every second is consumed by the tree. So only when I care for the tree, I care for myself. When the tree has to be cared, all the organisms who care for the tree's health also has to be cared. So caring for human is caring for the earth.
Okay, sir.
So this attitude has to come. So we use mobile phones, we travel in high speed trains, flights, cars, but why don't we take such necessary measures? We wear seat belts just like you wear gumboot.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, okay. But I don't wear gumboot. Yes, I go. I'm alive. I'm safe. Mm.
Okay, sir.
Actually, you should be in touch with soil. மண் குளியல்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. மண்ணுல குளிக்கணும்பாங்க. மண் குளியல்னு அது ஒரு spiritual process. அது ஒரு medicine also. When you are in always in touch with soil, you you are getting healthier. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next, any other questions, please? I want to know whether one of my students, Nitya, whether Nitya is there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, great. Doing great. Yes. Don't mind saying doing great.
It
Mm.
was a nice presentation, sir. After long back, I heard your
Mhm.
presentation, sir.
Yeah. You know that I concentrate more on practicals. Do you remember?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So it's not just preaching, doing it. Yes. Yeah, for everyone, it is feasible. That's changing the mindset. Changing the mindset. Yeah. Changing the habit.
Yes.
Thank you. And then any other questions? That's a very good question. Safeguarding the labors. Yeah. No labor in my farm during the last 7 years was subjected to any such issue, any bite like that. Nothing happened. Human do more damage to than all these organisms to human.
Hello.
Okay, I think
I think our
it's
questions are over, sir. So
over. Yeah. Thank
we'll now wind up. We'll go for vote of thanks. I now request Paneer Selvam, Senior Project Associate of Puducherry Climate Change Cell, to deliver the vote of thanks.
you.
Hello, sir. On behalf of Puducherry Climate Change, sir, the Department of Science and Technology, it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enlightened session on climate resilient agriculture safeguarding food, Puducherry's food security. First and foremost, I extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Saravanan Kandasamy for sharing your practical wisdom and various case studies and managing how the soil and learning from the future. So that will be a great presentation. And your presentation not only shed light on the challenges to agriculture or various practices, but also showed us the various ways for building a climate change resilient and sustainable culture. We thank the participants and viewers for your active presentation and active attention towards throughout the engagement of this webinar series. Your participation makes this webinar meaningful, and your commitment gives us hope that together we can drive change for the better future. I also extend my sincere thanks to your Special Secretary cum Director, DST, Senior Scientific Officer, Environmental Engineer, and my team members of Puducherry Climate Change for organizing this wonderful climate change webinar series. So, at the last, let us today's session not only end up with a small webinar, but also it sparks a collective action to enhance
Oh,
food security.
one thing I just want to know whether there is a recording of this.
Yes, sir. YouTube recording is
Okay.
going on, so you can have
Okay.
the link with Santalishmi can provide.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Please.
sir.
Yeah.
You have
I
said
feel it's worth it to share, reach many, so that some real adoption begins. That's my interest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Okay.
there, we can take it as a collective action to enhance the food security and adopt a sustainable practice for the climate resilient future. Together, we can adopt natural and organic agriculture practice, enhance the livelihood of the farmers, as Sir pointed out, and make our commitment more sustainable towards sustainable futures. So I once again thank everyone for overall take part of this climate change series. Thank you.
Thanking you all for the opportunity and patient listening. Thank you all.
and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
sir, the recording of this webinar is available in our YouTube channel, sir.
Okay.
Puducherry Climate Change, sir. Which I have
Okay.
already sent the link also, sir, which is available in
Thank you, ma.
YouTube.
Thank you, ma. Sandan
Thank you,
Lakshmi.
thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.